Seeing someone trapped in toxicity. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, you're learning what toxicity is. It is what human beings are capable of dishing out toxicity. You see, many human beings are envious. They're jealous. They won't tell you that. They will show it to you. And their actions won't match their words. And they will continue to have you believe that they do have your best interest at heart. They will also have you believe that your ideas are fantastic, and that's why they will steal them. They will also have you believe that you could do no wrong as far as they were concerned, like you're the best person ever, which is why they were trying to love bomb you or get as close to you as possible. As soon as that person got that close to you, they infiltrated your life. They learned all about you. They learned about your hopes, your aspirations, your dreams, your goals, your purpose, and everything else in between. And what this person did is they tried to steal everything from you. They tried to take your identity. They tried to take your belief in yourself. They tried to take your belief in humanity. They tried to take your money, your time, your relationships. They tried to take your health, your hobbies, and so much more. No stone was unturned when it came to the person you were considering. If they learned something about you, they would do their best, parasitically, if you will, to try to find a way to extract it or to have you not believe in that was the right thing to do or that you had those powers or abilities, etc. When you were trapped in that cycle, you didn't know what it was. Again, you weren't educated on this when you were younger. You're catching up now. You're learning. You are beginning to become awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and you're understanding now that a lot of the things you were taught in the past, you can throw them right out the window. A lot of the lectures, the scriptures, the words that you read or you listened to when you were in school or maybe even in sermons, etc., you can throw those out the window also. You, in this year of 2026, you need to use your discernment. You need to use this superpower that you are acquiring, developing, harnessing, and using as your own fuel to catapult you from this part of your life to the next leg of your life. Remember, when you're trapped in that cycle with that person, you were being abused. You were in an ocean of manipulation, a cesspool of misery, and a minefield of toxicity. You didn't know these things. You kept on trying to fix or repair an unfixable or irreparable relationship. You didn't realize that. And this person that you're considering, they knew what they were doing because they weren't just stringing you along. They were stringing multiple people along at the same time. You are the person that I care about because you're here in the community and you found that needle in a haystack. That's why you need to understand that not only are you the priority, that you come first, second, and third, but that there will be many other people post-relationship, and probably right now it's happening, and you should drop comments below if it is, that will be trapped in their own cycles, in their own toxic relationships, maybe even similar to yours, maybe even worse than yours. Right now, you may be saying, that's unfathomable. Nobody went through that hell I went through. Well, I understand that. That's why each and every one of us have to heal from these relationships. And that's why, from my vantage point, if you're in the relationship for a day, a week, a month, a year, 50 years or more, you still experience the same behaviors. You still know what certain things are. Example, gaslighting, the smear campaign, triangulation, financial abuse, on and on. So each and every one of us, as I've shared for years, we are all on the healing path. We are all headed in the same direction, simply taking different footsteps. I could be a mile in front of you, you could be 10 miles in front of me. That's not what's important. What's important is you cut these people out of your life. What's important is that you reclaim your mind, you reclaim your energy, you reclaim your belief, you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your purpose, you find your purpose, and you leave all these people in the past and you go no contact. Now, these are the things, the tools that I provided for 5 years on the channel, and I will continue to do so. For as long as Father Time keeps me around on this planet, I will continue to create videos. So you should continue to get as much wisdom as you feel necessary for you to get to the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. And once you get the wisdom, I strongly suggest you continue to come back to keep your cup full when you are ready. When you are done watching videos and you're in a good spot and you've learned enough, I understand it's time to move forward and leave the past in the past because you've healed and start living your best life. I've suggested that in many videos for 5 years. I'm saying it again. But you should always, and I mean always, remember that these toxic people are everywhere and they could infiltrate your life, possibly not the same way they did in the past, but maybe they come at you from a different angle. That's why you need to maintain your boundaries, maintain no contact, and you need to use your newfound superpower. This is a skill set that you've acquired and developed and harnessed that very few people will ever acquire, and fewer people will ever be able to wrap their head around. That's why so frequently during one-on-one sessions when I have these with people, I have to start really slowly and methodically and really understand where they are in the journey. And then once I pick that up, then off we go and we start working on the root of the concerns, the root of the questions and the challenges to break free from these toxic people. Now you, at one point, were what was known as the new supply. The new supply is not who you want to be. The new supply right now on this Saturday morning is being peppered or inundated with abuse and toxicity. Or let's say they're being love bombed. They're experiencing a little bit of the euphoria stage when they can't wait to check the morning texts or the night texts, or they're waiting for 3 hours without even blinking an eye because the person that they're about to enter the toxic relationship is making them wait because they're at a different supply source's house. I could give you hundreds of thousands of examples, which I won't do right now. What I will share with you is once you get the wisdom, you need to apply the tools. That's why I create videos every day. And you need to ask yourself a few questions. If you've watched thousands of hours of videos, and I'm sure you have, and you haven't blocked that person yet, what are you waiting for? The next thing is you must understand you will never, and I mean never, have all of the answers to the questions you are searching for. The next thing you need to understand is you will have more questions that will pop up over time. Not the heavy-hitting, hard questions that you had to learn in the beginning of the healing path, but later on down the road. I can assure you something will catch your eye, or maybe you get triggered every once in a while, or maybe you catch a perfume, or you smell a pasta dish or something, or you see a country's flag, which is a big one, and it will remind you of days gone by, and you'll say, oh my gosh, that's what that was. These are light bulb moments. The light bulb moments will continue to happen throughout the rest of your life, although they dissipate and they fade away over time, because eventually, as I begin to share with you, you'll have as many questions answered that you need. You see, you will never have all the questions answered, nor will I. That's why you must leave the past in the past, take the lifelong learning lessons from the past, not predict the future. And you, just like myself, you need to live in the present moment. The present moment is where the abundance happens. It's where you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book, sleep until 12 or stay up till 3 a.m. You can do whatever you want to, whenever you want to, because you've healed. That is a good thing. This is the relationship you'll need to heal from. Now, having said all those things, when you're observing, this could be when you're healing or when you're out, you will be observing some people that you know. They could be coworkers. They could be coworkers' children, meaning adult children. They could be your neighbors. It could be your siblings. It could be your roommate. It could be the person you're in business with. It could be anybody, but you will be noticing that other people currently, as I'm creating this video, not you I'm referring to, because my hope is you're out, but there will be other people that will be trapped in a cycle that you now can identify. You see, you couldn't identify cycles before. You couldn't identify patterns. And you couldn't do either of those things because you were too occupied with doing what the toxic person wanted you to do. That's why you became the unpaid helper, the indentured servant, the sounding board, the regulator, and more. Once that all went away, meaning the relationship ended, and you figured out what the toxic parasite had done to you and how they did it, and you learned the definitions, then you began to apply the tools, and then you realized, oh my gosh, that's how it happened. That's what happened. I was too upfront, too honest. I was wearing my heart on the sleeve. I was an open book. Well, yeah, you were vulnerable. You were naive. You were giving. You were trusting. You certainly were an empath, and you definitely did not have boundaries, similar to myself. And then this person took advantage of you, and the rest is history. But fast forwarding, now you will be able to see other people. You'll be able to see other people that have been trapped in different cycles. And I'm not referring to the person you're considering, although maybe you two shared children and one of your kids is trapped in the cycle. Can't tell you. What I can tell you is you will be identifying these for the rest of your life. Now, will you walk around like Inspector Clouseau or Inspector Gadget or Dr. Sherlock Holmes and with the magnifying glass going like this and looking at it? No, you won't do that. I don't do that either. But you will be at sporting events. You will be at concerts. You will be in seminars. You will be in an elevator. You will be at a coffee shop. You'll be at get-togethers, barbecues, etc. And you'll be observing and watching people and engaging with people to whatever ability you want to engage with. And what you will do is you will see other people trapped. You'll notice the signs in a second. You'll see them because now this, as I shared with you earlier, and for so many years, this is a superpower. Once you embrace it and you go with the energy that's been presented to you, and I do mean energy, These are things that you couldn't tap into before you got the wisdom. When you tap into that, then you'll be able to see the world the way I see it. You'll see it crystal clearly, which means this. Not everything is how it appears to be on the planet. You now know that. When you were trapped in the cycle, think about it. You thought everything was great. It wasn't. Now that you have the wisdom and you're applying the tools that I provide for you, and you're out and you're healed or you're healing, you can see this in other people. You can see behaviors. You can see emotional irregularity. You can see emotional intelligence or lack thereof. And you can see how everybody is built differently. It's a superpower on steroids to understand many things, but one main thing for this video is that before you had the wisdom, you thought everybody thought like you did. You thought everybody cared about you. You thought everybody had your best interest, and you could be upfront and genuine and honest, and you could share information. Well, those are days gone by. Did those days exist a long time ago? Yeah, to a degree they did, but narcissism was still everywhere. And yes, the first time I used the word, and I won't say it again in this video. But now you understand that not everybody appears, not everyone is who they appear to be. And not everything is who it appears to be as well. That is why you need to really use your discernment. You need to understand that if you're seeing other people trapped in cycles or loops or relationships that were similar to yours, there is very little you can do about that. Now, you may say, well, wait a minute, I should be going and talking to them all day and showing them videos and sending them videos and explaining that and telling them what's going on. Well, you can do what you want and you can do what you believe is appropriate. My vantage point would be I wouldn't do those things. I would politely be watching from afar if it's, let's say it's a loved one, and I would be communicating with them slowly, methodically, patiently on their terms and see how it's going with theirs, see what their mindset is. Now, I'm not going to continue on that path because then I would be giving away everything I do and how I help people heal. What I would share, though, is that you can't save everybody. You need to remember that. It doesn't mean you should stop trying to help someone that you love. I am not referring to the narcissist. I'm referring to being out of the relationship and healed. And let's say that your brother or sister is in a toxic relationship from hell with a toxic person. Well, now you have the wisdom. You can pay it forward and communicate with them. But you need to understand there are risks that will take place if you do that. So maybe, perhaps, and I know what I'm sharing here, and I'm sharing very limited resources on this part, maybe you wait till they talk to you, or maybe you wait till there's an appropriate time to talk with that person. Maybe you do nothing. It's up to you to figure out what you want to do. You must remember, when the toxic person knows that you know, usually a target goes on your back, or usually you are cut out of their life or their spouse's life. Isolation is the key component to these toxic relationships, and trapping people in a mental prison is another key component, and having access to what another people's resources are is another huge component. Having said all these things, you will notice, I can assure you, you will notice people in the grocery store line who are not being treated properly. You will notice in freeway traffic at times someone screaming at another person, and you'll scratch your head saying, what's going on here? Well, I think you're getting it. You'll also notice it in your neighborhood or in when you're walking around. Maybe some people say hello to you and they talk and check in, hey, how you doing? Maybe others just walk right by you and they're on their cell phone ignoring their spouse. Who knows? But you'll be able to see these signs everywhere. Now, do I wish these signs existed? No, I wish they didn't exist, because I wish this behavior would be eradicated from the planet, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, certainly not in my lifetime. So in the meantime, we have to combat it. And how to combat it is to have a small footprint, apply the tools that you've acquired, understand that not everybody will ever know what you know, understand also you can't save everybody, and that oxygen mask example from an airplane being at 30,000 feet, remember I shared that with you years ago, when you're on a plane at 30,000 feet and the oxygen mask drops, it doesn't matter who you're sitting next to. You have to put that mask on yourself first, because when you help yourself and you can breathe properly at 30,000 feet, and I hope this never happened to you, and it didn't to me, my hope is it doesn't happen to anybody, well then you can help your neighbor. That's what you need to do right now on the healing path. You come first, second, and third, and you need to learn and adjust and recalibrate to focus on yourself. And that's a very big pill for many people to swallow, specifically empaths, because we are accustomed to helping other people before we help ourselves. And look where that got us. It got us in a toxic relationship. Now, having said that, when you flip it, then you realize, wait, I can only control certain things. I need to learn how to control what I can control. I also need to learn to place my attention where I place my attention is where I place my energy. And as I was doing when I was trapped in that cycle with the toxic person, all my energy was going out the window. It was improving their circumstances, their life, and their bank account to the detriment of me. Now, all that goes away because I've healed and that person's blocked. And now my cup is full, or it's getting full. And now you, because you have clarity, you can see this everywhere. Now, one more thing before I close the video. Do I think that this toxic behavior is going to be swarming around you forever? Absolutely not. Will you see it everywhere? Yes, you will. Are you going to have to maintain your boundaries? Absolutely. Are you going to have to maintain no contact? Yes. Are you going to have to pick your battles? Yes, you will. Are you going to have to sometimes just not say certain things because it's not going to serve you, because what you would be doing is engaging with toxicity and feeding them information to blow up a certain part of your day? Yeah, you're going to have to learn that too. But see, these are all things that the person you're considering is going to have to learn also. Remember, when you were in the cycle, if someone walked up to you, anybody, I am not referring to the person you're considering, but a healthy person, if they walked up and said, hey, something's wrong here, you really need to pay attention because you're not the person you used to be. You don't look like you used to. You're short with me. You're not around that much any longer. You've gained weight. You've lost weight. You don't look like, what's going on here? They would have just said, no, everything's fine. What are you talking about? I've never been better. Everything's good. See, that's why when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's why I am here. Yes, I'm a teacher and I'm a student. And truth be told, I'm more of a student than a teacher, but when I create videos, I'm a teacher, and I'm a damn good one. Having said that, this is your life. It's your journey. You need to understand, if where you are is where you want to be, stay there. If where you are is not where you want to be, you need to keep working on yourself to get to where you want to be. However, all the people that you're considering, maybe some of which are in toxic relationships, they are going to have to figure this out on their own. You could talk to them, you could share information, but if it's not clicking with them, that means it's not the right time. Maybe they're in it too deep. Again, I'm not going to share too much information in this video about it, but what I will tell you is this. When somebody wants to make a change in their life, or when someone gets pushed too far, or when they get discarded, etc., then that person, which in this case was me, you have only two choices. One, you sink, or two, you swim. And truth be told, I'm an excellent swimmer, and that's why I made it out. That is a figurative and a literal example. You too made it out. That's why you're here. Now, the people you're considering, no swimming reference necessary, but maybe they're not ready to receive the message yet. Maybe they still need more confirmation. Maybe they're still caught up in the loop so deep they're not listening to your words. They can hear them, but they're not listening to them. There are millions of reasons why people stay trapped in these cycles. There are also many reasons why people get out, break out, and heal properly. Truth of the matter is, you figured it out. You cracked that code, and that's why you are a very unique, rare, resilient, courageous, and strong person. These are all things that the person you're considering had none of those beautiful attributes. All they had in them was toxicity that they try to dump into you, so your beautiful, bright, shining light would be extinguished, but it wasn't. That's why you're here, and that's why I'm here. So when it comes to other people being trapped in cycles, you'll see it. It's a very unfortunate circumstance for those people. But again, remember, you were trapped in a cycle for quite a long period of time. You didn't know it, and you made it out. So my hope is that you've healed, and you're where I am at the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference, and that those people too will be. But again, what you can do is put that oxygen mask on yourself. And if and when people approach you, the person you're considering, not the narcissist, I'm referring to the person who's trapped in a different cycle. If they approach you, then you can offer some wisdom. But remember, you have to speak really slowly, patiently. You have to be really patient with people because they are going through an awful lot, just like I did, and I can assure you, just like you did. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon. I love you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember a few things. One, you were trapped in a loop. You didn't even know it existed. Two, you didn't know that toxicity had two legs. Three, you're out. You're healing or you've healed. Four, this will continue to go around and around and around, the cycle, if you will, until it doesn't. For the foreseeable future, it will be going around. Again, I sincerely hope, and I really would, I would be grateful to learn that this was eradicated from the planet, not the people, but the behavior and the mindset. However, for now, that's what it is. That's why you need to understand that you really are the priority. You do come first, second, and third. And you can only put that oxygen mask on yourself and save yourself. And if others get a hint of what's going on and they want to reach out and talk to you, or you think you can make a breakthrough with them, tread cautiously, tread carefully, because not everybody is ready to receive the message when you are ready to give it. You need to understand these words. I love you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.